Welcome to White Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So today, I am doing the October second half readings for all zodiac signs, and we are finishing up with the last four, and we are currently on Sagittarius. Alright. I think the last few readings that I've done for Sagittarius, they've been having a rough go of it, so let's see where they're at now. I think Leo had a little bit of a breakthrough. Libra also had a little bit of a breakthrough. Cancer seems to be doing super well. Scorpio too. Alright. Okay, Three of Cups, the Hermit. This is going to turn into another one of those psychology heavy readings, isn't it? Yeah. Son of Wands. Four of Wands. Okay. Death. Mother of Wands. The World. Eight of Cups. Mother of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, this is going to turn into one of those psychology heavy readings. Okay, one more. Two more. The Moon and the Sun. Interesting. Okay. And they're telling me to have the Moon over there and the Sun over here. Alright. I'm just going to outright say it, Sag. It looks like what's holding you back right now is shame. Shame is a tough one. Shame is a tough thing to overcome. I remember learning or hearing someone say that the difference between guilt and shame is guilt is I did a bad thing, and shame is I am a bad person. So what makes shame so difficult to overcome is that it is a product of us basing our own identities on the mistakes that we have made. It's fine to feel guilt if you think that you did something bad. I mean, that only means that you have a moral compass, right? It just means that you're human and you're capable of remorse. That's not a bad thing at all. Shame is where it gets tricky, because that's what happens when we forget the things that make us good because of the bad things that we've done, or the things that we've done that we perceive as bad. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, and you can't live a life without ever hurting anyone. You can't live a life without ever making mistakes. It's just not possible. You know, and we hold ourselves to these impossible standards. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'm not perfect, and I'm just like, of course you're not. Nobody is. Perfection is not even a thing that exists. What is perfection? I mean, seriously, try to define it for me. What is perfection to you? Someone that never makes mistakes, somebody that's never hurt anybody, someone that has never had a shitty attitude, somebody that's always a saint. Is that realistic? No, a lot of us have skeletons in our closets. Some worse than others. But at the end of the day, all we can do as human beings is choose to do better next time. Choose to do better tomorrow. Choose to operate from the good parts of us rather than maladaptive traits. It's all we can do. I mean, seriously, me sitting in this chair, people seem to put me on a pedestal sometimes. But I've hit a lot of walls where I just want to be accepted as the whole, flawed human being that I am. And somehow I end up falling short to what they thought I was, when I never insinuated that I was that. Basically, I know what it's like to be the person doing the idealizing and then falling into a pit of self-loathing. And I know what it's like to be the person that seems to do that to other people. And instead of me being like, yes, I am a whole human, I am flawed, but love me anyway, please. And they're just like, oh, you weren't what I thought you were, or, you know, oh, you're too good for me, is something that I get a lot. And it's frustrating because I'm like, no, I am not. And I'm not here because I idealized you. I'm here because I see you whole and I still want what I'm seeing. But people don't seem to get that, is that you don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love. All you have to be is a human being that's willing to grow. All you have to be is a human being that is accountable. You know, all you have to be is a human being that is willing to face yourself and face others earnestly. That's it. All we can do is our best. And that is enough. Why am I getting really emotional about this? No, the Four of Wands feels like a culmination. Like a happy ending. That wasn't it. And so there was a death and a rebirth. And then the Eight of Cups is about abandonment, loss, withdrawal. But what I'm seeing here is that losing that, or walking away from that because it was the right thing to do for yourself, has given you a new perspective. But at the same time, it's made you a lot more gun-shy. Mother of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles. Mother of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles. Like, for some reason, the images here are flip-flopping in my head very rapidly. Mother of Wands is about protecting what she has versus the Ace of Pentacles, which is about a new opportunity. And it's just shifting back and forth in my head. And then we also have the World, which also, the art looks very similar. The Mother of Wands is a very reserved energy. Ace of Pentacles is new beginnings. Protecting what she has. Preservation is also something that I'm hearing, while also pursuing something new. The World card has been popping up a lot lately, and I've been pointing out that the way the art is, you see there's that core right there, and then there's another layer, another layer, another layer. And that's how the world is built, is it's just new layers on old layers. And the World card is about endings and new beginnings. It's about cycles. Ending old cycles, beginning new ones. But I think the nuance that isn't spoken of enough is that it's not just about ending something and starting something fresh and new. It's about building on what you have. I don't even know how to articulate this. Give me a minute. So what I'm seeing is someone that is ashamed of the choices that they've made. But the choices that you made were made in good faith. They were made in good faith, and people may have gotten hurt. But as horrible as this sounds, it's not selfish. It's still not selfish to choose what's best for you. Because think of the alternative. The alternative would have been that you continue to stay in a place that slowly corrodes you. Your happiness matters just as much as anyone else's. And I know it's hard to see it that way, especially if you hurt someone that you care about. But your happiness matters just as much as anyone else's. Because just as there are people that you want to protect, that you want to keep happy, even if it means sacrificing your own happiness, there are people that look at you the same way. The world is built like that, in layers. Someone else's life was built on yours, your life was built on someone else's, and we all love each other enough to, I think that's something that we don't really tend to bank on, is someone else's ability to love us enough to let us choose what's best for us, even if it costs them something. It's like, even when we know in our heads that the person loves us, we don't tend to bank on them loving us so much that they would let us leave them, if that's what it means, if that's what it takes for us to be happy. But love is open palm. Love allows you to leave if you need to. And it's like you walk away from this situation, death and rebirth, the 8 of Cups, a little different. Like you've learned something, but you also picked up guilt and shame, fear, hesitancy. Mother of Wands, Daughter of Swords, discernment, guardedness. It's like, if you're going to build something new, you want to be very intentional about it. Because you've had the 4 of Wands, culmination of your choices and decisions, the quote-unquote happy ending already, and it didn't turn out to be the end. I know this is a really weird example, but it's almost like you're replaying a game that you already finished. Like, you already finished the game, you already saw the ending, so now you kind of remember where the enemies were hiding or what you needed to do. It's like you can navigate the second round a lot better, but it's like you can't play the same game again with the same fresh eyes as if you were playing it for the first time. It's like new with a little hint of jadedness at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, yeah, I've been here before, I've done this before. But you're doing all that while also trying to do something different this time. While trying to build something new this time. But it's like some of the old programming is kind of jumbling up your signal. And I guess that's the message that the World card comes with, is it's a new cycle, but you're carrying what you've learned with you in the new cycle. You're not building on nothing, you're building on what you've already accomplished, what you've already learned, what you already have. That's why I talk about the layers on the World card. They say endings and beginnings, but it's not really quite that clean cut. You know, as you grow, as you live your life, it's hard to exist with no strings attached. There are always going to be strings. And we can aspire to have that fresh pair of eyes again. To try to play the game as if we've never played it again. To love as if we've never been hurt. To be brave as if we've never been burned. But there are always strings. It's human nature to carry both the lessons and the pain forward. From the moon to the sun, the moon is about diving deep into your subconscious. The sun is about happiness. The sun illuminates everything in the spread. And I think that All you needed to hear was stop holding yourself to an impossible ideal, a standard that can't be met. You're human. That's where the shame stems from. It's from comparing yourself to a version of yourself that simply doesn't exist. You know, maybe in another life you wouldn't have made that particular choice, but you're living in this one where you did. And it's okay, because you're human, and humans, the best we can do is the best we can do at any given moment. You know, in hindsight there will always be regrets, but in the moment I'd like to think that we all just do the best that we can. When I was in high school, I came up with something that I call the watercolor theory. And the idea is that we all start out a blank canvas. And as we live, we get different colors blotched onto our canvas. You know, I read a book, it leaves an impression, a little blotch of green. I see something on TV, it leaves an impression, a little blotch of yellow. You know, and let's say that trauma, or the things that we're afraid of, the things that we're ashamed of, you know, the quote-unquote bad moments, let's say that they're black. Black is a tough color. I don't know if you paint or not, but black is a tough color to just smudge out. Black taints everything else that you try to mix it with. Turns everything a little gray. And let's say we start out right here with our own individual color. Let's say that's the human soul. That is neither nature nor nurture. And then we get a bunch of nurture adding to that. Everything in our life is going to be tinted from the base color. What we were from the beginning. And we go out and out and out with all these influences, all these colors mixing with ours. You know, it's the same, it's the reason why you could show a group of babies that are supposedly blank canvases a clown doll, and some of them will cry and freak out, and some of them will giggle, and a couple of them would be completely expressionless. It's because whatever influences we are exposed to in our lives are mixing with the base color that is who we are already. And so we keep adding to it, get some blotches of black here and there. Something bad happened. And there are a lot of people that say, oh, now the painting's ruined. It's ruined, I can't get the black out. And then they burn the whole canvas down. But they're not done painting. And then there are people who just go, alright, screw it. And they just continue to paint the whole thing black. Smear it all in black. They're alive, but not really. They decided to live in their shame. They decided to live in their guilt. They decided to live in their regrets. They decided to live in their depression, in their anxiety, in their... You know the type of person I'm talking about. The type that just throws the towel in. One thing went wrong and they just dominoed from there. What I want to see in everyone, because I believe that they are worthy of it, are the people who get that blotch of black and keep painting anyway. Yeah, for a while there, everything that you mix with it is going to just be gray or some kind of muddled color. But if you just keep painting, it'll fade out eventually. It might still tinge the future. We can't forget our pain. We can only distance ourselves from it with time sometimes. and refusing to quit, persisting, and continuing to paint with different colors anyway. Everyone is worthy of a redemption arc. Everyone is worthy of the effort that they would have to put in to give themselves a happy ending, despite everything that's happened before. Because I've found that in this world, most of the harm that people do comes from pain. Most of the harm that people do comes from their own black ink blots, not malice. Rarely ever is it truly malice. Evil does exist in this world. Malice does exist in this world. But it is very, very rare. And if only we could see that and act on that and show each other empathy in the moments that we are taken over by our pain. If we could recognize the human in each other and understand that the roaring bear just has a thorn in its foot, I think that we'd be living in a very different world. This one's getting to me, because what I'm seeing here is a person that's trying to move through the shame, to move through the guilt, and find their happy ending somewhere else somehow. Someone that didn't quit. Someone that is continuing to paint. And all I feel is awe and pride. I am gonna have to cut this before I start crying for real. But don't stop painting. Because that happy ending that you're looking for, you deserve it. Why? Because you do. And that's all there is to it. Fortune favors the brave. And the happy endings are for the ones that never quit painting. You got this. Keep going. Well, if you liked what you saw here today, please feel free to like, share, comment to help me out with the algorithm, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a video, and I'll see you in the next one.